Welcome to Can't Talk Pedals. My name is Jordan Clayton, and I'm joined by Andy Britton.
How's it going?
So we just got through with the Tall episode, and you might know the gist of kind of what's going on now. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, Pinebox Customs, please do, as well as Can't Talk Pedals. And Andy probably still doesn't have his channel set up. That's 3 weeks away. We are doing playthroughs with some of my pedals and some of my releases and things like that, just to add like a little bit of what would be the word? A little bit of candid playing along with a demo. Not super scripted, kind of real world sounds and just having fun playing. So we are doing Deep version 2. If you are familiar with Deep version 1, it is how would you describe it? In context with the rest of them.
Sure. So I had a line on this before I played Tall V2. This one is also lower gain, compared to what I usually use. But it's also something, I don't know, it's still fairly clear. It's got the ability to be fairly clear. When I spent time for it for the first time, I played a bunch of riffs, sort of which is not usually how I use fuzz pedals. I usually just go to town and play chords on the lower strings. So I felt like I had a little more room to pick around with Deep than I did with with other fuzz pedals that I use. It seems a little more seems to do like a little more treble heavy than Tall for me. It can also get hairy. Maybe less transparent, it feels like it.
Yeah.
But not in a super distorted sense. I don't know.
Yeah. So
the whole point. Yeah. I'm the one that can't talk pedals. I'm just kind of reaching for words that match.
I would agree. They probably do sit in a similar gain range.
Yeah.
Tall can definitely take it a little further to me. Deep does the rock and roll thing.
Yeah. That's a better way to put it.
That's kind of where I go with it. I play Tall and I want to play or when I play Tall, I want to play post rock or some ambient stuff, heavier stuff. You're more pretty heavier stuff. And for Deep, I want to throw an octave pedal on it, and I want to play old classic rock type of stuff. So they do sit in a similar category technically, I guess. But very, very different flavors and really two different uses.
Yeah.
So Tall, like we mentioned in the Tall demo, if you haven't watched that, watch it. The closest thing to Tall would be a tone bender type of deal. It's not. So before... There's purists, man.
Oh, I know.
It's not germanium.
I feel like I can't say anything ever.
It's not germanium. No, we say whatever we want. I want to say it's closest to a tone bender. It's closer to a tone bender than a green ringer, right?
This is Tall, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tone bender and Deep is not a fuzz face, but it is the closest thing to a fuzz face that I would do. It has part of a fuzz face, and then it has 2 added gain stages and some other cool stuff. But there's some fuzz face flavor in there to me, which means you also get the fuzz face. Not issues, but some of the quirks, I do prefer to run it in front of a tuner.
Yep. That's
the only pedal I've ever made that I feel like makes a difference.
Yep.
I do think it makes a difference, though. Sometimes...
I agree.
I feel like I can hear a difference. So, it is like a fuzz face in that way, and it colors your sound, makes it warmer, would be a good...
Okay.
Fender amps can be pretty cold, which is what I play. It sounds cold. And to me, it makes it not that much heavier, but it makes it warmer sounding.
I see.
Warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, when you say cold, what do you mean?
So I'm playing a Supro Comet right now, and Andy's through the Pro Reverb, and yours has so your amp that you're playing through now would be mid-scooped.
Yep.
How I have it set. and you have like low end, you have a lot of like high end
Yep.
chime. I don't know, I just feel like cold.
Okay,
And
cool.
Mine, the Comet it's not a high gain amp, but it's like
Right.
there's a lot more presence like with your mids and things like that, and it just feels warmer.
I see.
Does that not
I
make
think
sense?
so. Yeah. Like I think of Fender amps. Well, not Fender amps as such, but the way I tend to play Fender amps, I tend to run them pretty dark.
Mm-hmm.
So like when I plug in deep, it sort of brightens everything up for me.
Okay.
So I mean, so I tend to associate warm with like a darker tone. I don't know if that
So we that's exactly what I mean. So
Yeah.
we probably set our amps up very differently.
100% we do.
Okay. Well,
Every time I come over here, I gotta like readjust.
he's playing through my settings right now.
Yeah.
So you're going to hear cold, and everything he just said is nonsense.
That's right.
Not really, but yeah, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that because I say, like I'll talk to people like I play Fender amps, you
Yeah.
know, and I guess I've never experimented too much with like going darker.
Right.
The Sovtech, I sold Andy my
Yeah,
Sovtech
yeah.
months ago. It was dark.
Yeah, it's a dark amp.
It was dark. It was warm. It was dark.
Yeah, the reason you
And-
complained about it is the reason I like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I liked it. I liked it at times,
Sure.
but there was a lot of times I didn't like it.
Yep.
For sure, I didn't like that I had to. Everything else I have, I can run like in unison.
Yep.
And I had to like change my settings, like on my
Yeah,
board
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff with that one. So it just didn't. What ended up happening is I wasn't playing it as often. But that is interesting. To
That's
think about. I hadn't
that's
thought about that. So if I ever tell you like, oh, I play Fender amps and Telecasters, it means nothing, I guess now. So.
Oh no, I don't think I'm in the major. I run them for not the intended purpose.
Yeah.
So you're probably closer to orthodox than me.
For me, it deep warms up the tone. There's not a ton of game. I feel like I lose a lot of low end.
Yeah.
When I play.
I think that's right.
It's just mid rangey, and I think it's
punch.
really great for rhythm.
Mhm.
Lead stuff, I had the opposite experience.
I see. Yeah. It was
Um,
good for leads for me.
Yeah, I liked it. I don't like sustain that much,
Right.
as you know.
Right.
And so when I play in leads, I really like a lot of sustain. I love Big Muffs for leads.
Yep.
I need more high end, so I like kick on like a boost or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it for leads, and I don't like it for rhythm. So this one for me, deep works really good for rhythm.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. When I was writing the demo for it, you'll hear alongside this, and it's like a really like upbeat, simple. It's very different than anything else that I have done, and it was just like all rhythm, and I didn't
Right.
want to do leads.
Yeah.
And I thought to do a lead, and I was like, I didn't need a lead. It sounds really good with the rhythm, so that's what I did.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Different takes.
It's cool.
So let's go through it real quick. We have volume. We have pre-gain, which would be the gain on the first. There's an input stage. That is the gain on that. Then you have post gain, which is the last three.
Mm-hmm.
It's the gain for that. And then you have bias. Bias again just gives you like a different flavor. I like bias. I think
It's fun.
Pretty much you can't bias everything or like run a pot. I mean, I guess you could, but there's not a large enough sweep on some transistors where like there's not enough like voltages that they'll actually work for you to really like make a difference. So anytime that I can get a bias control on something, I try
Yeah.
to. And you may not use it like you may not change it that often, but the option is there and it's
Sure.
fun. And yeah, so it's pretty simple. It's the same as version 1. The controls are just on the outside, like we've mentioned. So yeah, we'll run through a couple of sounds. See, that is biased. I'm gonna put everything closer to noon. I'm gonna go to standard.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't think this guitar's been in standard E. to me brings in like the lower end
Okay.
kind of back. So when you max out that pre-gain, it brings a little more low end.
Yep.
That's what I like it for. No sustain to be had.
Sure.
Nothing. Like there's nothing there. That's what works for me with rhythm.
Yeah, that's cool.
You can. I don't know. I feel like I used reverb in place of it. So maybe if I cut my reverb off, I would like a big muff. But we're not cutting the reverb.
Oh no!
off.
Oh no!
Yeah, we're not doing it.
Really discovering things here.
So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. There are, of course, plenty of sounds you'll have to experiment with. That may be. Let's try some higher gain. If you want to play like some higher gain stuff.
Sustain there.
You think?
I also have reverb on, so
Yeah.
so that's probably what it is. But I like that sound.
Yeah.
That sound the sound that I was most at home with, the quickest when I plugged in deep was something that was not that, but I can still get the sound that I like out of fuzz pedals out of it. So I mean, I can get that sort of nasty, not really a ton of note separation. It just sort of hits you in your gut. That's what I use fuzzes for. So it's possible to get that if you just want to run this really hairy, but you certainly don't have to, right? When I wrote the demo for that, I tried to get it such that I could get a little more note separation, right? Just pick around and it still sound big, but not blown out.
Okay. So it kind of like sounds like it made you play a little bit differently.
It did
as well.
It did. It made me play. Well, I wrote some stuff that was a little prettier than I'm used to for this, which was fun.
So if you listen to Andy's demos and they're a little heavy for you, then send like a clean boost or something.
Yeah, give me
we'll
a
demo that. Yeah. Let's see.
I'll turn down nothing.
thinking it'd bring a little more in.
Yeah, same. That's surprising.
Huh. I don't think I've stacked those before.
Yeah.
That sounded so. I'll use tall to stack with everything.
Right.
And typically I can run the volume pretty high. So what I've noticed, I could be completely wrong with feedback, is the volume doesn't necessarily matter as much as the gain.
Okay.
Have you noticed that?
Well, yeah, especially if you're running it before, right?
I don't know, but I don't know. It's like a newer discovery of mine. I don't play live. I haven't in years.
Yeah.
And I barely ever played electric live.
Right.
So, I'll hit feedback at like specific gain settings, but not necessarily volume.
Yeah.
Like if you crank it, you're gonna get feedback no matter what. But I feel like sometimes the volume is reasonable, but if there's a lot of gain, then
That's it.
feedback.
Yeah. That seems right.
So that I wasn't expecting feedback on that.
Yeah.
Might be more gain than I thought.
I think. I mean, it probably was. Yeah. Because and you had the V1, right? So
Yep.
A little more, yeah. Makes sense.
Interesting. So, I guess probably what I would use deep for. I would not use it to boost anything.
No, definitely not.
It's just not. There's better pedals for that.
Yeah. It's not made as a boost. Like a.
Yeah, I would use it for like probably like verses and stuff, like the softer stuff.
Okay.
I think there's quite a bit of clarity. It like works more like Americana.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that kind of stuff you listen to, but for me it hits like that kind of field better than I don't know. Like that's what I would play. Like
Yeah, that makes sense.
Amos Lee or somebody like that. Like that's a fuzz pedal they would use.
Yeah.
Whereas, like most bands that I listen to, like Manchester or they would use probably not that.
Sure. That makes sense. I think I would. Yeah, I mean, whenever if my demo ever gets done and I play it here,
yeah, we'll see.
You'll see what I use it for. But it makes me want to play stuff that I don't know where you can hear the notes, but you can also sort of feel it. Like I mean, it can get chimey and things if you want it to, but it can. I mean, it's deep. It's got some ability to punch some lows, and I kind of want to exploit that. So what I would use it for is, I mean, like heavy post rock sort of like kind of a post rock sort of vibe.
Like Death Cab.
Like Death Cab for Cutie. Yeah. No. Yeah, you'll hear it. I ran it on bass and 2 guitars, and it got heavy, but in a very particular way that I was fond of.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I listen to. We can talk about like. I guess we can talk about whatever we want. I listen to the same albums.
Yep.
Until I know every word. Every part of the song, and I know like. When I hear the song come on. You know, like a song will come on. You hear a recording starting. A lot of times, but the song hasn't started. You know, but you know a mic is on in a room somewhere.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And I will know like the exact when it comes in. You know, like that's I dissect these albums and that's how I listen to them.
There's certain noises like this noise.
Yeah.
There like I can pick different songs that start out with that. Like I know which ones are which.
Yeah, and those are the things that like little background things like that so many bands I know you're writing and like those things are seemingly unimportant, but those are some of my favorite parts because I don't hear them until I may have listened to this album like 30 times and then I hear it and
no, I agree.
You'll never not hear it again, and those are things like a lot of fun to listen in on. I don't know how they mix them. Like maybe it was a mistake with mixing, you know, like oh shit, I forgot this part was supposed to be in there. But like, we've already sent it out, you know.
Right.
And it's just so light and kind of in the background that you don't notice.
Yeah. So you want to use Deep to make album, like to give those the albums little Easter eggs that people love.
Yeah, I would use it for that or rock and roll. Like I
Right.
said, I play rock and roll twice a year.
Yeah.
And if my dad comes over, I'll throw like a Zeppelin riff out there.
Yeah,
I might
yeah.
use it for that. Yeah, it's a different flavor of fuzz for me.
Yeah.
Not what I typically put out, which is why I did it.
Right.
There are 4 fuzzes in the Wild series, which I'm sure you know. Tall, deep, far, and wide, and they're all different. And I feel like they cover a lot of fuzz territory.
Mm-hmm.
So, I initially had a different circuit kind of worked out. I didn't finish it, but it was mostly worked out for deep, and I ended up going to that one just because, like, I don't need to release 4 the same thing. You
Right.
know, they need to
Right.
be a little different, and yeah, it's fun. But
Yeah.
while we can say I'm working on 2 more, so
Okay,
the Wild
okay.
series will be expanding. I'm not sure exactly
Yeah.
how. So the artwork, if you're familiar with that release, I released them like 1 a month for 4 months,
Mhm.
and the artwork kind of tied into like one big
Right.
thing. Probably the most fun I've ever had with a release or artwork in general.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a huge canvas for me to be able to work with, and a lot of fun. And I'm going to like extend it.
Hell yeah.
I've decided I'm going to,
That's
and I
cool.
don't know how often I'll put them out. Like now, I release them fairly often, but they're not in stock like at all times because it's
Right.
a lot of fuzz pedals to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
with one company.
Yep.
I can only make things so quickly, and like once like if I bring out another pedal, I kind of have to like discontinue a pedal
Right,
at this
right, right.
point. I think as long as it's just me, like I can't do 10. You know,
that's
like
right.
I just can't. So, Sirens is going this not Sirens, Siren
Mm-hmm.
is going this year. So it's
Oh, okay. Okay.
so maybe I can bring in those 2. And that's it, and I'll have 1 more that I've built.
Cool.
And they're not done, but I want an octave.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want. I don't know what. I don't know if I'll chase like sub octaves or not.
Yeah. That's,
But I feel like I really
yeah.
want octave up and down. Like
Yeah.
I think I want the whole shebang.
that could be cool.
And that'll be the final one, and then in 2 years I'll have the real final one that I put out.
That's right.
But for now, I think I'm gonna do 2 more,
Cool. I'm looking forward to that.
maybe 1 more. We'll see.
Nice.
But anyways, deep fuzz face rock and roll lovers.
Yeah.
That's your pedal. I don't know. I'd have to ask the public's opinion.
Yeah. Like what is everyone else using it for? I feel like we are 2 very bad examples of how people use pedals.
Yeah, well, we certainly use it differently
Right.
than each other. I feel like I'm simple. I don't
Well, I mean,
mess with stuff that much. So I feel like
I guess
somebody
you're
out
right.
there uses.
Maybe
it
I'm
the same
projecting a
as
little
me.
bit.
Yeah,
I'm bad about using pedals a little bit different. I mean, I think that like for most people, it all sort of ends up sound like I don't know. You can make one pedal sound like every other one by the way you play it and set it, right? I'm especially bad about that, right?
Yeah.
When when I think of you, I think of making fuzzes sound like overdrives, right? So you can definitely do it with this pedal. In that way, I think like we're 2 very particular flavors of
Yeah.
of running fuzz.
You know, I think it sounds like a 1 watt amp with like
Yeah,
full
that's a good.
hollow
yeah.
body. Like an old blues player is sitting on the side of the road in Mississippi
Yeah,
playing like a full hollow body, shitty harmony guitar,
yeah.
and he's got his little 1 watt amp cranked.
That's
That's what it sounds like to me.
into here, dude. That's the
Yeah.
that's the description.
And that's a sound. That's a good sound.
Yeah, that is cool.